There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when they realize that wealth, in its truest form, is not measured by what one possesses, but by what one feels when all possessions fade. Why peace of mind attracts prosperity is a quiet revelation that teaches this truth not through force, but through understanding. It reminds us that prosperity is not something to be chased in the outer world, it is something that unfolds naturally from the inner state of harmony, gratitude, and peace. The book begins by asking a simple yet profound question. Why do some people, even in modest circumstances, seem to live richly, while others, despite abundance, live in quiet misery? The answer lies not in fate or luck, but in vibration. Our inner state, our peace, our clarity, our emotional balance, is the energy field through which opportunities, ideas, and abundance flow. When that field is disturbed by worry, comparison, or fear, the current of prosperity is blocked. But when the mind rests in calm certainty, the river of life flows effortlessly toward us. The author reminds us that the universe operates through resonance. What we are inside, we attract outside. A peaceful mind sends out a frequency of stability, trust, and wholeness, drawing to it circumstances that mirror those qualities. This is not mystical, it is natural law. Think of a radio receiver, it can only play the station it's tuned into. If your inner world is tuned to anxiety, you will experience more reasons to be anxious. But when you tune to peace, the outer world begins to harmonize with that vibration, people respond differently, solutions appear more easily, and prosperity begins to flow not as a chase, but as a response. Throughout the book, the author paints vivid pictures of real people who discovered this truth. One story tells of a struggling entrepreneur named Daniel. For years, Daniel tried every business strategy he could find, chasing trends, investing restlessly, constantly feeling that success was one breakthrough away. Yet, every time he got close, something would fall apart. It wasn't until he experienced deep burnout and began meditating, not for success, but for peace, that things began to shift. In stillness, he realized he had been operating from fear of loss, not from inspiration. His energy was restless and desperate. Once his focus changed to gratitude and calm intention, doors opened naturally. Clients who had ignored him before began reaching out. Opportunities he had been chasing now found him. He hadn't changed his business model, he had changed his inner frequency. The author calls this the law of inner alignment. It teaches that when the mind and heart are aligned in peace, the universe aligns circumstances to match. Peace is not passive, it is power in its most refined form. From it arises clarity, intuition, and magnetic presence. A person who is at peace carries a silent confidence that others can feel. That energy inspires trust, cooperation, and attraction, all of which are essential ingredients of prosperity. There's a poignant chapter about an elderly woman named Lila who lived a simple life in a small town. She was not wealthy in material terms, yet everyone who met her felt richer for knowing her. Her home was modest, but filled with warmth and beauty. The author describes how her presence itself seemed to slow time. People would visit her for advice, and somehow leave with lighter hearts and clearer minds. Her secret was simple: she had learned to trust life completely. She once said, "I stopped asking life to give me what I wanted. I started thanking life for giving me exactly what I need." That deep acceptance gave her peace, and that peace, in turn, made her life abundant in ways that money could not measure. Neighbors brought her food, strangers offered help, and her needs were always met. The universe responds generously to those who trust it. This lesson strikes a deep chord. Prosperity is not created by effort alone, it is invited by vibration. Peace of mind is not laziness, it is receptivity. When the noise of the mind quiets, inspiration can be heard. When the heart is calm, intuition guides us to right action. The author writes beautifully that the greatest wealth is not what you gain, but what you no longer need to chase. Another key insight in the book is the difference between outer striving and inner allowing. Most people are conditioned to believe that success is achieved through relentless pursuit. They push, hustle, and grind, often exhausting themselves in the process. Yet, those who attain sustainable prosperity know a different rhythm. They act from centeredness, not from chaos. They understand that peace is not something to be found after success, it is the foundation upon which success is built. Without inner peace, achievements feel hollow, unstable, and short-lived. The author introduces a powerful exercise. To pause throughout the day and ask, what energy am I sending out right now? Are you anxious or peaceful? Grateful or worried? Open or resistant? That question alone can transform how we navigate life. When we consciously choose peace in each moment, by trusting outcomes, letting go of control, and acting with presence, our energy shifts, and so does what we attract. He further explains that peace does not mean the absence of challenges, it means the presence of balance within them. Life will always bring uncertainty, but when your inner world is calm, you meet uncertainty with creativity instead of fear. You see possibilities instead of problems. This shift of perception is the very soil in which prosperity grows. A peaceful mind can recognize solutions that a restless mind overlooks. In one section, the author describes a gardener who spent years trying to make rare flowers bloom. He tried fertilizers, tools, and complex methods, but nothing worked until he changed his approach. Instead of forcing growth, he began to create harmony in the soil, adjusting light, moisture, and air. When the environment became balanced, the flowers blossomed effortlessly. The same principle applies to our lives. Peace is the fertile soil in which prosperity naturally blooms. The book also explores the spiritual dimension of wealth. It teaches that peace aligns us with the divine rhythm of life. When we stop fighting reality, life flows through us rather than against us. Prosperity, then, becomes a reflection of divine order, a dance between giving and receiving, effort and surrender. The author writes, peace is the gateway through which the blessings of the universe enter our lives. When we are at peace, we are aligned with abundance itself, because abundance is the natural state of the universe. There's a touching moment when the author recalls a conversation with a monk who said, "When I stopped wanting, everything I needed arrived." At first, this seemed paradoxical. But the monk explained, wanting comes from lack, peace comes from trust. When you live in peace, your energy no longer says, "I need." It says, "I have." And that is the vibration that calls forth more. In the final chapters, the book invites readers to embody peace as a daily practice. Not as an idea, but as a lifestyle. To begin the morning with gratitude, to release expectations, to breathe through tension, and to remember that no goal is worth the loss of inner stillness. The author emphasizes that peace is not found in perfect conditions, it is cultivated within imperfect ones. Every challenge is an invitation to return to calm awareness. Every delay is an opportunity to deepen trust. The transformation that follows this way of living is profound. Relationships become smoother because we no longer project fear or control. Finances stabilize because decisions arise from clarity, not desperation. Health improves because the body relaxes when the mind is at ease. Creativity blossoms because the mind is free of noise. One begins to realize that prosperity is not something we earn, it is something we remember. It was always waiting beneath the turbulence of our thoughts. In essence, Why Peace of Mind Attracts Prosperity is not just a book about wealth, it is a guide to wholeness. It reminds us that every human being has two accounts, one in the bank, and one in the heart. The first measures what you earn, the second measures what you feel. When your heart account overflows with peace, love, and gratitude, the universe ensures your bank account reflects that harmony. True prosperity, therefore, is the merging of spiritual abundance with material expression. The closing message of the book is deeply moving. It says, when your mind rests in peace, the world begins to mirror that rest. You no longer chase life, you dance with it. This is the essence of the teaching. Peace is not the absence of motion, it is the rhythm that allows all things to move in harmony. When we cultivate it, we become magnetic to everything good, opportunities, relationships, health, and joy. Prosperity ceases to be a pursuit and becomes a natural reflection of our inner balance. So if you ever find yourself striving endlessly yet feeling empty, remember this truth: the more peaceful your heart becomes, the richer your life grows. Peace is not a luxury, it is the root of all abundance. In peace, ideas are born, relationships thrive, and the universe begins to whisper its blessings. Prosperity is not something you chase in the world, it's something that flows through you when your inner world is still. That is the timeless message of this beautiful book, a gentle yet powerful reminder that the mind at peace is the most fertile ground for miracles. When we master peace, prosperity follows, not as a reward, but as a reflection of who we have become.